Yes, folks, hello, welcome once again to Monetary Games and Collectibles. I'm Chris, this is my channel. Absolute pleasure to have you with me here today. And you know what we say around these parts, folks, Monetary Games and Collectibles, a place where you get some of the G.I. Joe Classified Series news, some of the time, when I get around to it. And here we are, 3 days later, I'm finally getting around to having a talk about Yojo June Week 3. Some of you may have seen my video recently, you'll know why I've not been around as much or as timely as I'm not anyway. But before you all jump into the comments down below, yes, I have indeed had a haircut. I've got a family event coming up that I need to look a bit smarter for. Again, some of you will have seen the video about that, so I've had the trim at my mother's request. But nonetheless, I hope you've enjoyed the pre-recorded content that I've had going out over the last week or so while I've been away from home. I'm back for a couple of days, so I thought, why not get caught up and see what's going on? So let's talk about Yojo June, shall we? And let's start by talking about the pre-orders. Dusty, the new version 2 Dusty, and the Avalanche Rescue both opened up for pre-order this week. They're turning things around pretty damn quick in Yojo June. They're doing the render, and then boom, there you go, into your in-hand reveal and pre-order open up fairly swiftly, which is fine. You know, I suppose in the broad scheme of things, we're all there for Yojo June to start laying down pre-orders. However, there has been a lot of commentary about this pair, Dusty in particular. Well, actually, to be more precise, about Sandstorm. Folks are not too happy with the Sandstorm look and the Sandstorm feel overall, which is, you know, understandable. There's plenty of criticism to be thrown there. Creature companions are usually so good in G.I. Joe Classified, but this Coyote is not quite living up to standard. Throw in the fact that they've laid this guy down at an extreme cost. Over here in the UK, he's on Hasbro Pulse for 53 quid, I think it was. 53 quid! I got my Rock Claw for 45. Got my Desert Scorpion and the Scorp 10N for, I think that was 45 as well. Do you know what I mean? Very, very expensive set for what you get in it. However, you know, putting all that aside, the in-hand reveal of Dusty himself looks pretty decent. He looks like a good, solid kind of, you know, desert camo, desert combat looking dude. I just think at that price, they priced me out of that set. I know I said last week, oh yeah, I probably might go for this one. Repeat characters, rule be damned and all that kind of stuff. But at 53 quid, not a chance. I'm also going to skip this guy, the Avalanche Rescue. I just can't see a place for him really in my collection the way it stands at the moment in terms of how I might want to play with and display and photograph my figures. Unlike things like the Copper or the generic Troopers, I just can't seem to find a space to integrate him in, you know? And so even though these two have opened up for pre-order, I've got myself a bit of a wallet saver there because I'm not paying 53 quid for Dusty and Sandstorm. I'm just not. And the Avalanche Rescue, even though I think it looks great, really, I think it looks like a fine set, it's just not for me. But if they are for you, pre-orders opened up this week. Make your way to wherever you buy your stuff from. I don't know what it's like over in North America, but everybody's advertising them over here at the minute. Then they took us into render reveal land, and the first render reveal they gave us was Iceberg. Been on the name-only list for like a day and an age. As BMAX said in the stream, which I suspected was the case, with the snowcat coming, they wanted to show that there was kind of all that Arctic-y stuff going on. We still have the Troop Builder 3-pack that's been render revealed that's not been shown in hand, but you know that Arctic-y theme is getting plenty of love this year, although it looks like the kind of desert sandy theme's getting a bit of love too, nonetheless. But anyway, Iceberg, yeah, looking great, looking fine. I think the head sculpt looks really good, actually. I'm liking the head sculpt very, very much. Good looking head sculpt there. Lots of interesting sort of furry, fluffy bits as well to help him keep warm in the cold. Loving the kind of Ugg boot trim on his boots down there. Very practical, of course. Iceberg is not making a fashion statement there. It's a practical decision. The colour combination of the kind of greeny grey sort of trimming with the black little bits like the gloves and these little kind of straps on his arms, along with the grey kind of core body and the grey knee pads, gives it a nice symmetry, seems to be very easy on the eye. Accessories wise, we've seen that snowboard before, we've seen the rifle before, we've seen the pistol before, we've seen the knife before. There's nothing new in terms of the accessory selection, but the core figure is looking pretty good. And a nice companion to get paired up with Snowjob, fighting Arctic bats and snow serpents, and of course, for crewing up your Snowcat when it comes. So I might go for this one. I think I might, although I must admit, I don't get Snowjob out a great deal. It's kind of, the Arctic theme is sort of cursed a little bit for me. The same way that divers are, in the sense of, like, unless you've got something really cohesive all together, they're hard to work with. But I can work with Arctic figures a lot more. I do have a little foam dio of a kind of like little snowy scene, so that kind of works for me in terms of the way that I collect and play with my figures. So yeah, I think I might go in on this one, but overall it's looking fine, looking solid. Just a good slab of GI Joe classified there in an Arctic theme. But yeah, I'm liking the look of the guy, really. Definitely the head sculpt, the interesting color combination in there, just giving it a bit more flavor and life. I just hope these furry bits really don't look too kind of white and stark and plasticky. I hope they do a little something with that, like they did with the snow serpent. So there we are. Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Next up, we had the Rugged Duke. Oh, well, I don't know if it's next up. I don't know if I'm actually doing these in the order they did them on the stream. Not that that matters. But yeah, the Rugged Duke. Interesting one, this one. So I speculated a while ago on a few kind of angles that for Rugged Duke. I was thinking about, like, the 90s comic book Duke that was sort of in combat gear and unshaven. I speculated, obviously, like many, about the Energon Duke. I speculated about the Sunbow cartoon, like a battered up one. The Energon Stealth, the black get up, the sneaky covert Duke. None of that came true. This is kind of like a little crossbreed between like the G.I. Joe Resolute cartoon Duke and the kind of rugged, unshaven face of Duke solo series from the Energon universe, which, is fine. The head sculpt is, rugged, as they described it, although just having a bit of a beard and slightly longer hair make you rugged. I don't know. It's got this little kind of scar mark over the top of his eye there too, which I think is kind of interesting. For sure. Then sort of moving down into the chest area, you've got this tactical vest here, which is looking pretty new and interesting. At least I think it's new and interesting. Have we seen that before? I'm not sure we have. I'd be curious to know whether some of this kind of gear at the front is removable or not, whether these like pocket pouches, like that radio that's over there on the kind of right-hand side as we're looking at it on the screen, or not. That's definitely a flip down kind of screen that we've seen before. So that's all good and fine. Definitely, it's giving off sort of hard kind of Valaverse, Fresh Monkey fiction-y vibes, although theirs are Fresh Monkey Fictions are definitely modular. So it's this pouch on the side here on the left hand side that makes me wonder whether this is all stuff you can plug in and unplug or not on a kind of core vest. Time will tell. We'll see. But otherwise, the rest of it is all kind of pretty standard kind of core toy soldier type stuff. The weaponry selection, again, we've seen a number of times before. There's a couple of 1911s. He's got his knife. We've seen this sort of machine gunny thing before. There's a holster on the thigh that looks like another holster on the back of the belt, and a sheath on the thigh for the storage of the small arms. So it all comes together well, and obviously you can keep everything on the figure itself. Might have been nice to, I don't know, get a radio or something, or some sort of field gear just to kind of flesh that accessory selection out a touch. When you've got what is essentially a pretty core toy soldier type character like this, then you always need just a little bit more flavor, don't you? And I'm not sure if he's got a lot of flavor or not. I'm kind of on the fence with this guy, honestly. I'm kind of on the fence. I do like the look of the figure. Got a lot going for it. And that sort of tactical vest stuff looks really nice and interesting. The rugged face looks nice and interesting. I just don't know. Don't know if I need another Duke or not. I'll obviously make my mind up by the time it comes around. But yeah, an interesting one, this one. Interesting. It's certainly not quite what we thought it possibly will be. It's sort of got Energon-y vibes. You could do a head swap on this for like the Retro Duke. Do a head swap on it for the Retro Duke, and you could essentially have an Energon Universe Duke there with from those kind of earlier issues of the G.I. Joe title itself. Or you could use that kind of rugged look head and swap it on and pop it onto something else and use it as an Energon, you know what I mean? But it's kind of got resolute vibes, more resolute vibes to me, with a little bit of kind of competitive call out to the smaller indies that make these kind of combat toys. I don't know, that might just be me. But yeah, there you go. There's your Rugged Duke. Then into the villains, folks, and here is Mistress Armada, a wild departure from her aesthetic from the comic books. She used to have a kind of purpley jumpsuit type thing. And this is wildly different. They've definitely, and they pointed out on the stream, Beamat said, we've reinterpreted this character in a classified kind of way to fit in with the Iron Grenadier vibes that we have with our line, and boy does she. Holy moly, look at this. I mean, the first thing your eye is drawn to really is all this kind of shiny armor plating. The Iron Grenadiers have got this kind of Scottish medieval knight kind of motif tied in with it. She's got the red, black, and gold sort of color scheme knocking around, but then she's got this like really in-your-face sort of armor pieces. Loving these kind of suit of armor legs with the skull kneecaps. They look wonderful, but it sits really well, on top of the sort of black, red, and gold color scheme stuff in the core body. But then once you kind of let your eye wander a bit more away from what is a lot of kind of shiny silver in your face, the head sculpt looks really awesome, really, really great. She's got a signature red visor with a radio on it, which she does wear in the comic books. She then comes with her kind of classic kind of ceremonial style Iron Grenadier sword. She's got a gold pistol. She got the bling. She's also carrying the Benjamins there, load of Benjamins. Bit disappointed that it's Benjamins really for an Iron Grenadier. I think it'd be 50 quid notes that, but who am I to comment? And then we got this thing here. This is just insane. Looks like it's a head swap to me, but just this like a super ornate kind of, I don't know, like a Greek goddess type thing going on. Looks really, really intriguing, really, really interesting. You can imagine like kind of Iron Grenadier Destro with Mistress Armada with Darklon, all with these kind of head swaps on them. Although Darklon's is obviously a bit more kind of out there and creepy. I don't remember her wearing anything like that in the comic book. So again, I think this is a kind of classified reinterpretation of the character. And Beamout said it's not like we can't go back and do the sort of grey, the purple jumpsuited version. But yeah, I'm really into this. I think it's great. Obviously, loads of uniquely sculpted stuff in there as well, which is really, really eye-catching. Loads of shelf presence, and it's just balmy, isn't it? It's just another Cobra weirdo. I love it when they're wacky. I think it would come as no surprise to regulars around these parts that this is appealing to me greatly. My biggest hope, though, is that these large silvery sections look as nice as they do in this render, and it's not going to be too kind of that sort of metallic silver plastic, which it probably is going to be, but hopefully not too bad. I didn't think Armored Cobra Commander turned out too bad, so hopefully Mistress Armada here won't turn out all that bad either. But yeah, overall, for a render, in my head, I was expecting the kind of comic book accurate version. Really glad to see something that's just fully classified, reinterpreted. They really go to town when they do that stuff, and it's where they shine. And staying with the Cobra villains, next up, they showed us Toxo-Viper. Another one ticked off the name-only list, folks. Very much kind of core inspiration in there, but you can see where they've added a bit of depth and a bit of kind of six-inch contemporization in the classified form. So you've got that kind of classic look helmet, classic look kind of color scheme, obviously the weapon idea, this sort of gassy stuff going on. It looks really, really interesting. Under the helmet, they've got this head that's obviously been kind of mutated and warped by the close proximity to all these weird chemicals and shit, which I'm really, really into. They've maintained that sort of purple, red, and turquoisey thing. They've dulled it down a bit, so they've dulled the colours down a little bit like they did with Ninja Force Zartan. And thankfully, it's not quite as out there as it is on the Overkill figure. The Overkill figure could have afforded a bit of this treatment. But yeah, they kept the crazy colour scheme, the purple with the turquoise and the red trimmings and stuff, which is really nice. And then some interesting effects. So you've obviously got the backpack and the weaponry that's attached with the hose there. But got like these little sort of flamey, gassy wisps coming out those top tubes there, those little exhaust pipe things at the top there, as well as a little blast effect, a little gas kind of shot, toxo sludge blast coming out the main body of the unit, which is really, really cool. So just another one of those great, really out there, unique looking, unique feeling sort of Viper type characters. And with this guy being revealed, surely Cesspool can't be far behind. Surely not. So yeah, I'm liking this one. I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. Got nice sculpted details, good accessory selection, still maintaining that core visual identity. it's a winner for me. Yeah, I think I'll be going in on this one for sure. And then finally, on the digital renders, they dropped a tease in, a silhouette of a brand new character going by the name of Synapse. So we were told we were getting 2 new characters this year. We've had Sundown. Synapse is the second one. I suspect we'll see a proper reveal, either a proper render or an in-hand reveal of him next week on the Yojo June, the fourth and final installment of the month. So what could this be? I mean, it's insane. He's got like some big sort of robo-skeletal hand thing sticking out of his back there for a start, which is really, really interesting and obviously draws your eye in. And there's lots more kind of robo sort of vibey stuff, like this little extendy kind of robo grapple hand thing. He's got these sort of robotic-y clawed fingers on one of the hand swaps, although this hand swap looks like it's sort of well, I don't know what it I don't know what it looks like, to be honest. Answers on a postcard. Get your guesses in down below. But yeah, really, really interesting. Also looks like he's got a human head with a sort of mohawk going on, which I think is interesting. We're like a little aerial sticking out there or a bit of hair. So some sort of cyborgy sort of dude, perhaps like a dreadnoughty cyborg type thing. Could be. I mean, he's got like this sort of spiked shoulder pad going on there. Obviously comes with this rifle as well, so it's got, he carries weaponry. Not much more else I can sort of discern from that, other than what looks like a big belt with a lot of pouches across the middle and some sort of little bit of a bottom of a coat or a tunic of some description coming out underneath. Otherwise, it's sort of head, 2 arms, 2 legs. But we got this like kind of spiked hand thing with 6 fingers coming out of his back. There's little grapple robo arm, clawed fingers on the silhouette there, and the mohawk. That's about everything I can discern from it, folks. That's about everything I can discern from it. But, we won't have to wait too long because I'm sure we'll get more detail on this guy coming either next week, or they're holding him back for like San Diego Comic-Con, which is in July. So it shouldn't be too long before we get a little bit more information or a peek at this guy beyond the silhouette. But certainly very curious. Looks like he's in my ballpark. The fans of the wacky, crazy sort of sci-fi fantasy side of G.I. Joe. Perhaps your more military-focused folk might look at that silhouette and go, "What the fuck is this gonna be?" You know what I mean? But time will tell. But yeah, like it's that mohawk and what looks like these sort of bare upper arm bits that are making me wonder if it's like some sort of dreadnoughty cyborgy type thing. Let's wait and see. Get your guesses in the comments down below, but I'm obviously very, very curious. I love the weird shit, so I'm sitting in eager anticipation of this guy. And then finally, to wrap up, we had some new additions to the name-only list. So we knew about the Lara Croft, the made by G.I. Joe Classified series, Lara Croft, which the advert originally said find out more in Yojo June, but we're coming up to the end of Yojo June and no word beyond the name only yet. So who knows what's going on with that. Another one they might be holding back for convention season, though. We know about the Night Force Psycho. That's been name only previously. All the other name onlys that were on the list previous to this one, we've seen now already. But the 3 new additions were a retro wave, a retro Valkyrie, the female Cobra Trooper army builder figure that was in a 2-pack originally, if I remember right. Then a retro Falcon, which is a really curious choice. And then retro Flash, finally, Mark, there you go. The Flash fans rejoice. Although interesting that they're going straight in on retro and not giving us a mainline version of Flash yet. Although they've done that with, who else did they do that with? Was it Zap? Yeah, Zap, I think. So in any case, the retro wave has been name only revealed. Be very curious to see. I think the retro Valkyrie is just going to be a repaint job of the one out of the 2-pack. So we'll just see what they do in terms of the color scheme. I might be interested in that one. I skipped the 2-pack because I didn't like all that weird brown, yellowy brown tan stuff that they chucked in on one of them. So if it's a bit more kind of straight up female sort of Valkyrie look, then I'll be all for that. Blues, blacks, reds, that type of thing. They've been featuring quite a lot in the Energon comics, haven't they, as sort of Cobra Commander's little little kind of personal guard kind of group there, which is interesting. Retro Falcon's a curious one too. Let's see what they do. Is it going to be the mainline Falcon body with the Night Force head, or are they going to do something different altogether? Time will tell. I mean, this could be a frustrating release, because if they do a really good job and it's a really great Falcon and it's kind of a bit new, I'll be frustrated, because I obviously bought the mainline Falcon, then I bought the Night Force 2-pack for the Falcon head, although I was there for Quarrel as well, you know, being a British G.I. Joe fan. But yeah, it could be a bit frustrating, that one. And of course, Flash, which will, basically be Grand Slam with a different head and different colour padding. But still, pleasing nonetheless for the OG-13 fans, and certainly a curious pair of choices that you probably wouldn't have predicted. You know, if you were sat here with the list of G.I. Joe classified releases thinking about what they might reissue in the retro card version, you might not have gone for the Valkyries or Falcon. You know, you might have gone for something perhaps a little bit more predictable. But yeah, let's see what they do with Falcon. Is it going to be a covered girl jobby, or is it going to be, like some of the others, just a straight up repaint job, a bit of a Frankenstein repaint job? Time will tell. All right, so there we go, folks. There is the there's the update, the what's gone on in week 3 of Yojo June with my commentary. So as always, I invite you to head to the comments down below. While I'm home for a couple of days, I'm going to try and catch up on comments and things and get some replies out there. Apologies. It has taken me so long. I'm so behind on comment replies, but I will do that. Especially since a lot of the stuff was pre-recorded and I've not been kind of launching videos live. Otherwise, yeah, just let me know your thoughts. What do you think of the render reveals? What are your guesses about Synapse? Do you think their Retro Falcon is going to be a new version of the character like CoverGirl, or is it just going to be a bit of a Frankenstein repaint jobby? Who knows? Let us know in the comments down below. I will be disappearing again after a couple of days, though. I'm home for the weekend, and then I'm going back up to my mum's house. So please remember, anything going out during the week at the moment is going to be pre-recorded, that I won't be around for that. All right, okay, well, thanks very much for tuning in, folks. Been a pleasure to have you, as always. Swing back around again for another video sometime soon, but all that remains to say is have yourselves a great day, have yourselves a great week, and I'll catch you next time. All right, take it easy, folks.